How about I turn on my audio? Does that help? Make America great again. What's that mean? So, turn on my audio. This is going to be a couple of basically what we're doing here is we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to talk to you guys mainly. That's the main thing. But this is the first live chat, so there's a lot of bugs that I need to work out. I'm using some new software that I'm not comfortable with yet. And it took probably, I don't know, maybe an hour for the last 3 days. So basically 3 hours for me to get this audio and video to where it was comparable, where it was decent. It's amazing how many settings that's involved with this stuff. Oh, that's right, Don. I remember you saying something about heart surgery. I hope everything went well there. Yeah, that's something that I don't like to talk about because it seems like that we have problems with hearts in our family. It's an issue, that's for sure. So basically this is to talk with you guys, interact with you guys, let you know that we're going to start doing more live chats. It's something that people have talked to us about and I've watched other videos on. It's hard to do with a PC setup or a laptop setup. So we do have a PC. My future son-in-law brought over some sort of, I don't know, it's a server PC. I don't know how that, I don't even know how it works. All I know is I put a hard drive in there and it was all set up other than that. I put a new Windows 10 on it and bought another monitor, so I had a couple monitors again. And now we're live streaming. Heidi said, don't do this until you get everything straight. Now, I'm having one issue that you guys probably see, and that is this little box that I'll make bigger here. Let me transition it over. In a second here, you'll see this box get bigger that's in the upper corner of the screen. I'm not sure, but the chat is supposed to be showing up in there. So it would show what everybody is saying, but it's not. So I'm just going to have to remove it and just work on that at another time. So let me remove that and we'll transition it over. Again, not real comfortable with the software or anything, and a lot of this stuff I got to look up. Now, what I wanted to do on this video, since I've been involved so much with all this equipment, and you know, I don't really know. The volume's low, really. Wow. My volume is low. Is that what Sandra Swift says? Volume is low. I'm glad you guys are telling me this, because that is ironic. Because the way that I have this set up through the microphones, I would think that it would be almost too loud. I can easily boost this. Is anybody else having a problem with the sound? That's the one thing I can't stand about this. I should be looking at the camera because that's, you know, what you guys are watching. But, okay, Jay Wall says it's not too low. I think it's okay. Sounds like you're sitting away from the mic. I am, Mike. No, I'm kidding. I know what you're saying. I am sitting, well, you can see the mic here. Here it is right here. I can definitely boost it up quite a bit. I have half volume on YouTube. Sounds fine. I don't know, Sandra, you may want to check your volume on your monitor. There's a, or on your laptop, or if it's your headphones, I'm not sure. Good, good. Thanks, Daryl. Good audio, good. Love it. I had to run up to Staples the other day, had them do a price match on a webcam, because for me to stream through my cameras, which this is sad. You know, again, this is for equipment. This is the whole chat is basically, thanks Sandra. Hope that works out for you. This is for the equipment that I use to shoot a video for RV travel and my other channels too. I know there's a lot of people that want to get into RV travel, which a lot of you watch our channel, obviously, for our whole progress going in that direction. But some of you also are interested in, if you are wanting to full-time, or maybe you are already full-timing, or you just RV, that you might want to capture video, shoot video, and vlog about it. I have so much equipment all within arm's reach right now. If you guys want to talk about any of that, you have any questions, jump in and ask. This is kind of an open QA, so we'll talk about equipment first and see if there's anything that I can tell you about as far as what you need to get started. As far as you getting started, let me just jump into that. All you need is a camera phone, a smartphone. I mean, really, that is it. These things have come so far along from what they used to be. Whenever I first started, though, on YouTube back in 2007, yeah, I can lower the cam. Is the picture a little bit too high? Let me scoot back and get my laptop here. Yeah, we'll just move it physically. It probably puts you down onto my monitors, though. You're probably just going to see monitors at this point. Let's see here. I guess that's not too bad. Do you want me to lower it even more? Oh, good. Okay. I'm glad that worked. But if you have any questions about gear, like I said, whenever I first started, I had a little Sony CyberShot camera, and on my other channel when I started, Fox Boss 9, solution for dash cam to record the whole trip. Good question. Let me finish this one thought, because you know how it is. I'm squirrel. Whoop, squirrel everywhere. But I'll get to that. The channel that I first started on, my Fox Boss 9 channel, all I was trying to do, I had a small engine repair shop out of the garage, and I was trying to sell mopeds on a forum. And I had a bunch of mopeds: Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, not so much Pennsylvania, but Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, back in the late 70s, early 80s, just was swamped with mopeds, and they're everywhere. So I took advantage of that, being a small engine mechanic, in addition to me repairing lawn equipment. And I was buying these mopeds for, $50 out of people's garages and basements that didn't run and hadn't run for years, and I was fixing them, and I was selling them to other places in the U.S. that were wanting them. And this is back when fuel was $4 a gallon, and these mopeds get 150 miles per gallon, so you don't get there very fast, but you save a lot of gas. And again, whenever it's $4 a gallon, everybody was looking for them. So what I did was I needed to find a way to capture video and audio and post it so people could see what I had for sale. And I was doing, again, with a forum that I could put a link to videos, but I had to have a format to put videos on, which I just grabbed YouTube. I could have grabbed anything back then, but YouTube was kind of the go-to at that point. So I started posting videos with this little cheap camera, and I got a pretty good response out of it. At some point, I had a project that I did with what they call it now, a rocket stove. If you guys haven't even ever seen those videos of rocket stoves, they're very interesting. You use very little fuel, and through thermal dynamics of some kind, basically gravity, the cold air being pulled in and the heat pulling the flame through a chamber, you can burn very little fuel and generate a considerable amount of heat. That was the first project that I actually talked on video, and I talked about. I think I posted one of my old hot rods. We were drag racing too. I think Heidi filmed me doing some drag racing. And then when we were selling our car, the same car, I think we posted that too. But I had a little cheap camera, and after I did the video and the audio of the rocket stove, I definitely needed to upgrade. And of course, like everybody, went to YouTube, started watching videos, and it kind of went up from there. And I started with a pocket cam, that Kodak made when Kodak was still in business before they got bought out by that other company that now calls themselves Kodak also. And that thing was so far way above its time. That pocket cam, the only thing that could have killed it was Kodak going out of business, and that's what happened. They were just like everything else. Kodak was the one that invented digital film or digital technology, digital video capture, and yet they abandoned it. And then they had this awesome little camera, and even then it just didn't work out so well for them going out of business. But I bought a ELPH 300HS camera. Everything that I'm mentioning, if you want me to repeat it, let me know, or I can type it in. There's a link in the video description that goes to our Amazon affiliates. If you decide you want to go look at that, just click that link and type in, the words that I'm saying, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Almost all this equipment I bought from Amazon, almost every single thing. It had the best price, best return policy if I didn't like it, and of course, some of the stuff I tried and I sent it back. Of course, I won't talk about that because that stuff wasn't that good. But as far as the camera itself, the ELPH 300HS was the first 1080, and it was 24 frames a second camera, but the view was relatively wide, and it was just a great capture device. It was incredible, and I did a lot of video with that, and I did it for a long time, and then I slowly started upgrading. So if this phone, for example, was available back then, there's no way that I needed to buy any of that equipment, because this phone kills it. I mean, this is a Note 8. Even my S7 Edge, that would do an exceptional job. And even going back, I'll lean over here, back as far as an old Moto X. The only reason I keep this around is whenever we go camping, RVing, we're away from the house, or when we are RVing, I will hook this up to my hotspot inside the RV and leave the hotspot running. And I turn on a security camera that detects motion, sound, and if anything is detected when we're away from the house or anything like that, it'll alert me on my phone that something's going on. And it's all free. But anyways, even this Moto X, this was a decent camera. I actually shot some videos on this channel using the Moto X. However, as far as stabilization, stuff like that, you definitely need some, I don't know, you need some decent cameras for that. Now, as far as JWall, I don't know if anybody else is chatting. I got quite a few people. Oh, hey Greg, I didn't even see saying hi. Sorry about that. JWall, you're traveling east coast to Utah, hitting all the national parks next. Man, I wish I was you. Trying to figure out the best solution for a dash cam to record the whole trip. There are so many dash cams out there. I bought my son a dash cam for his van that has a front and rear. As far as just capturing, this is kind of a catch-22. If you get just a good action cam and put a large card in it, you can do I'll talk about my truck, Joshua. Thanks. If you have a power port inside, you can actually power your action cam. Even though the battery will last quite a long time, I would still want to power the action cam externally. And I would suggest, if you want to do an action cam type thing where that camera, all it's doing is capturing your trip the whole way, I would suggest a Sony AS200V. Now, the FDR X3000 is a better camera, but you don't need this much of a camera, $500 camera, when you can get away with $120 action cam to do that. But the problem with the action cam is, depending on how big the card is inside, you can set it up for a loop. So Once it gets past a certain point, it will start record over the beginning of the trip. So many hours in, it's going to start recording over the beginning of the trip. Um, Engine swap. I don't know. I don't know. Um, okay, you're thinking the action cam's a better idea than a dash cam. Now, the other alternative to that is I have that GPS, that Garmin Nuvi GPS, which I love, and it has a dash cam built into it. The nice thing about it is if I'm in an accident, it has a G-Shock sensor, and it immediately records or goes back. You know, it takes, let's say, 3 minutes before the accident actually happened, and it logs your location on a map, your speed, everything else. If you're talking, all that's being recorded the whole time. You can turn off the audio if you want, to where it doesn't record it. But the other nice thing is it's automatic. Whenever you turn on, you know, your dash cam or your GPS, it'll say select align camera, or it'll give you a little recording dot that you can click it and you can adjust your camera, and then that's it. It just starts recording. And again, it's just like an action cam. I did that review on that in a previous video. If you want to go back, I think I mentioned it on this channel. Hey Gail, how's it going? We got a nice sunny day out here for once, huh? That's nice. Yeah, the Nuvi cam, I mean, it is a GPS, but it's also a dash cam. It has two separate cards, one to run the memory of the GPS, and then the other one specifically for video. Now, as far as extracting the video off, I think that the best thing to do is probably just pull the card and put it in a card reader on your computer and extract it that way, because Garmin wants you to use their system, and it's kind of hard to navigate. It's a pain in the butt, to tell you the truth. I would rather just capture the files and look at them that way. But again, if you don't need a GPS, you can go with the action cam. Does the wireless cam in the back work? Hey Neil, how you doing? Yeah, I've bought the really cheap, and again, I've done reviews on this in the past, the Peak brand dash cams, or not dash cams, but backup cameras, rear cameras that go on the license plate, and it works really well. But good, I like to hear that, Neil. But the fact that there is a distance going on there, like when I drove past a guy's house up the street here, I used to tease him. He used to be one of my customers that get his mower worked on with me. I used to tell him, I say, yeah, I see you need to mow your backyard. And he says, how do you know? I said, because when I drive past with my truck, it works off of 2.4 gigahertz. Well, he had a wireless security camera that worked off that same. So whenever I drive past his house, my monitor would kick on because there was a broadcast signal being broadcasted from his house that was strong enough to be picked up by my monitor inside the truck. However, as far as the camera in the back on the license plate, the only way that was supposed to be turned on is when I put it in reverse, it worked off the reverse lights. Now, as far as putting that on your RV, it wouldn't reach that distance. Even though I drove past that guy's house, there's just too much interference. His broadcast was much stronger than the thing that's coming from the back of the truck. As far as the dash cam one that they offer with the Nuvi cam, I bought that one. I hated the quality. I thought the quality was horrible. It did the job. I could see what was going on, but I didn't like the quality. So I had returned it. It's a BC30, I think, is the Garmin brand. So as far as the wireless cams, going to the back, a backup cam would work if it is just used for your vehicle. I don't have any problems with that. The way I position my antenna and everything, it broadcasts just fine into my truck. And that was on the back tailgate of my truck inside the rail. And it wirelessly went to my dash. But if you're trying to do something with your RV to where it's mounted on the RV, I wouldn't mess with them. You'd need wired for the most part. And even if you do wireless, you would probably run the transmitter from the wireless camera from the back of the RV all the way through the RV and then mount it in the front of the RV so it could reach the vehicle. So I don't know if I'd do that. That's not the case. Now, Joshua, will I do an engine swap anytime in the near future on my truck? Maybe, possibly. You know, the problem that I'm having, though, is the engine's compression is good. It's not an issue. I don't burn any oil. You know, I never did elaborate with that on our Florida trip. I talked about oil consumption, and that was a mistake that I made. When I went on the trip to Florida, I basically started my trip at a quart of oil low. I put 5 quarts of oil in the truck, and I forgot to put in my additive like I normally did. The truck takes 6 quarts of oil. So whenever I got to my first stop and I checked the oil, and I said, oh man, we used a quart of oil. That wasn't the case. I made the whole rest of the trip, and I used basically just over a quarter of a quart of oil over 2,900 miles. So basically the engine through 2,900 miles, and at the time it only had 170,000 miles on it, I think. Just over 170,000 miles. It used basically a quarter of a quart of oil. So what is that, a pint? Is that a pint? 4 pints in a quart? I don't remember studying that in school. Must have been when I jumped schools. So the truck, as far as the lower half of the truck's pretty decent. There's no noise coming from it. I would like to put a different camshaft in it to bump it up just a little bit. There's a couple of huge modifications I would like to do to the truck, but we'll talk about that in another video, because I don't know if we'll go that direction. I mean, you see how this conversation even goes. I go in so many different directions, so many times sometimes it doesn't really pan out. I've learned to try not to plan too far ahead, because I may change right away. So getting back to the whole camera thing, not the dash cam, the action cam. Well, let me tell you, Jay, since you're thinking the action cam and we're talking about it, I'm going to walk away here, grab a piece of equipment, if I can find it. Yeah. This is the camera that I was talking about. It's the AS200. It's from Sony, and it's a good one. I love it. The only thing that I had to do to this one is actually take it apart and adjust the lens. For whatever reason, there was, for the distance, the fixed distance that I wanted to operate off of, it was just a little bit wrong. So I readjusted the lens. It's just a matter of, there's the tutorial on YouTube on how to break the lens loose and just turn it a little bit. It's a screw adjust, and then it will the glue will kind of reset again once you let it cool down. But the nice thing about these cameras are they're pretty inexpensive, and they do mount. There's a separate mount that I don't have right away here, but separate mount that screws on it that allows a normal tripod mount, and you can put it on your you want to get back together, huh? It's not too bad. I got big fumbly hands. It took a little bit of time, but you may not have to take it apart. You may be okay with the picture. I wanted just a little bit different sharpness at a different distance than what it was operating off of. But anyways, you can mount it upside down, and then there's an option inside the camera to flip it. Now, if you buy these, there's a couple of different, like this live view remote that I have from this camera, this action cam. This will operate both cameras simultaneously, so I can switch back and forth and look at the view. I can change one, setting to where this starts taking time lapse, where this one doesn't. I can change, the frame rate to where this does slow motion, and this one stays. Or I mean, you could do anything. But the live view remotes are really nice. Now, let me tell you, you don't have to have a live view remote. If you buy just this camera, you can download an app from Sony, and operate from your smartphone. It'll turn it off, turn it on. You can change settings in it. It's really nice. And again, it operates off a battery that will last probably, oh, I don't know. Well, actually, it tells you whenever I turn it on. Let me go ahead and turn it on here and see what the time says on it. I haven't looked at this camera in a long time. I'm glad I got it out. I love this little thing. And I'll show you another reason why here. Okay, I have it set up on time lapse right now, so it's not going to... Let me go ahead and change the mode. Photo, movie. I think that's what I want. Yeah, let's go ahead and stop. 2 hours and 42 minutes on this battery and this card. It says what the recording time is. So the other thing that I like about this, let me turn it off, is you can buy one of these LCD cradles, and Heidi likes using this. And this thing, you just open the two doors underneath. That's the other thing. God, I'm really getting off track here. Well, not really. This is equipment. There's an HDMI out cable here. So you can run the cable directly from this camera and play it on a TV if you want. Or you can stream to a monitor if you're having a hard time seeing, through your phone. I don't have a problem with seeing through my phone or a tablet whenever I'm doing recordings. A matter of fact, I did a review of all my equipment on a previous video on this channel, I believe. And during the time that I was talking about this camera, I had my tablet sitting there, which, you could see what you're recording. But anyways, the other thing is it has a cable out that would allow you to do like a regular audio video into something. And then you have your normal cable that does the transfer into the computer. It also will allow an external power source to be hooked up to it if you need to run this thing for, let's say, 10 hours. I have a battery pack that I can hook up to this and it will record for 10 hours as long as the card can accommodate it, which I have a pretty good card in here. But if you open these two doors up, oh, that's the other thing. Again, sidetracked. This thing has weather seals all the way around, just as you see this camera, just like this. If both of these doors are closed on the bottom, it's splash resistant. You take it out in the rain, you can get it wet. You could probably go down in the water with it and come right back up, as long as you don't go real deep. It doesn't have real tight seals, but it does have water seals on all these doors, and everything is set up to where it's water resistant. Again, the fact that oh, hey John, sorry about that. This was impromptu. I just decided to do it last minute. We'll get a good one on whenever we get all these bugs worked out, and we'll get Heidi. But as far as like the new phones, I mean, this phone I can drop in the water. Hey, Solly, what's up, man? This I can go down in the water with. I mean, I can just, I can film underwater. It doesn't make a difference. But back in the day, whenever this camera came out, and the one before it, the AS100, which I also own that one, Hero, you had to have that, that waterproof case, which I'll show you. This comes with these cameras, by the way, J-Wall. All this stuff comes with these cameras when you buy them. This is whenever you want to dive deep. And this is the only way you could do a GoPro Hero. You had to have this, this waterproof case to go under. It still picks up sound, but not as good. And the picture's not as good in here as it is this way. So like when it's raining or something and I'm out camping, I want to do a time lapse. I just throw this out, on a tree or whatever which I have a ton of mounts. I have tons of mounts. Some that wrap around the tree, some of them that strap to trees, some of them that clamp to trees. I mean, there's so many different tripods and mounts I have. If you have any questions on it or if you want to see any of them, just let me know. But the camera, it can rain, it can get rained on all you want. I leave it out in the rain all the time, out in the snow. When it gets real cold out or when it gets real hot, direct sun, or if it's out in the cold, I did try to do a time lapse when it was 15 degrees out, and it did get cold to the point where it didn't want to film anymore. That's great. I wanted to mount it to the top of the trailer for an overall look down on the road. That's a good shot that I've always wanted to do myself, and I see that Traveling Robert does that a lot. I love Traveling Robert's shots. He does a good job. I would most likely run this case for more protection. You shouldn't have a problem. This is an underwater case, but the picture is pretty good as long as you don't go underwater with it, because this curved thing caused it an issue. So much so that these new cameras that came out, they have a square face on them now. This is an extra filter lens that I have on here, but the waterproof case is now square. So anyways, getting back, the hardest part that you're going to have is just durability whenever it's out in the hot sun driving. And as far as battery life, if you have it in this case, you can't access and put an external battery on this. I don't know how you... this is probably the only reason I haven't done an external shot on my camera on my truck. I was actually thinking about getting some sort of an external camera and mounting it up on the truck and running the wires inside for the actual capture. I might have to do some experiments. You know, you got me thinking about it again, because that's a shot that I've always wanted to do on my truck also, up on the trailer. And it can be done with the camera just mounted in the case with the battery that it comes with. I just don't know about the heat, and I don't know what would happen if, you know how hot it gets. And I mean, this is basically a little greenhouse. Even though this is white, there's still going to be a lot of heat trapped inside there. It might be worth it. It might be worth a try. Drill and do caulking. You have the technology? Yeah, I could do that. I could probably do that. The other thing that I like about this camcorder, if you want to get into an action cam, and you definitely want to do an action cam for all kinds of things, like you said, maybe doing that shot that it's up on top of the vehicle with a case that comes with it. Again, you can monitor it with your phone. You can start the recording. As far as stopping the recording, though, this thing will shut off. You'll have to get back up on and push the button on the back to restart it. You can access all the functions through the buttons, but that's the one thing that I like about this camera is I can turn it on and off with the live view remote. So if I get in traffic and I'm going to be stuck for 3 hours in traffic, if it's a big jam, I can just push the button and turn it off. And then if traffic starts moving 50 minutes into the wait, and it's like, oh, I didn't think we were going to move this fast, I can push the button and it'll turn it back on again. This one, once it turns off, the only way you can turn it off from your phone, but to turn it back on, you have to get up there and hit the button to restart the camera action. You're always going to have compromises. I'm going to tell you all the negative stuff I can find on it. Now, one of the positive things that I like about this is once you get to your destination, you can get one of these LCD backpacks, which like Heidi has, and now you just slide that in with those 2 doors that are open in the bottom. Let me see if I can get this here. Just line up, just like that, and now you have an action cam, just a regular action cam type thing, a camcorder. It is a wide angle, but there's external microphones. There's no zoom or anything like that, but I don't know if you can see the screen. Let me see if let me see if you can see here. Yeah, it's a good little camera. You can do playback on here. You can see what you recorded. And I'm really saddened because I used this so much to shoot video. They don't offer that for these new cameras. They do not offer an LCD, what they call the LCD cradle. GoPro calls it a backpack, but Sony calls them cradles. They don't offer that for these anymore. That's a mistake, I think. Because the nice thing is whenever you're vlogging, like in my case, you just flip the screen and you can see yourself in frame. You can see everything that you need. It's a big clear picture, and I love it. I love it. This was a really great camcorder. I'm gonna have to start using it again more. Heidi used to use it. I used to give it to her. It's kind of funny. I mean, I'm glad she's not here to defend herself, because you know how I like to tease her. Heidi in the house. Goofy pic background. Isn't that our daughter's? Oh, hey, Heidi. Yeah, I put that up instead of the guitar. I got tired of seeing the guitar. Kept on bumping it. I'm working, but at lunch. LOL. Okay, you guys see all the RV Daydream chat that's going on there? That's Heidi. She's at work. Yeah, I decided to. Hey Heidi, how's all this sound? Everybody says everything looks pretty good and sounds okay. Is that right? So, anyways, so Heidi not really being able to defend herself so much. I used to give this camera to Heidi. So you know, it's a no fault camera. It does a decent job. I can't believe that. That's funny. I forgot you got a notification. Oh, good. It sounds perfect. Awesome. I had to work on that. I was having some sort of a feedback issue earlier. Again, that's kind of what this video is for. Talk to you guys. Talk to you about our equipment, all our shooting gear, and also to work out the bugs. Unfortunately, I've done everything I can. I cannot get the chat to appear on my video, so you guys can see what's being said. I'm going to work on that whenever we zoom in a little. I think I'm too far away. Okay, that I can do. Let me see here. Video capture device. We'll go to properties and configure video. And how about, let's see if this works. How's that? It's going to jump here in a second. You'll see it. I just went just a little quick blip. Is that better? The sun's starting to come in. I'm going to have to drop this shade eventually here. Oh, I think it's better. Okay. I just thought, I don't know. It seemed like I was too close to it earlier. I had it on the monitor and I moved it on a tripod. Maybe we didn't want a closer view of him. I wouldn't want a closer view of me either. Jay Super, how are you, sir? So the fact that you can run an action cam as a dash cam or as an external camera kind of makes an action cam like this really the best way to go. Again, if you just click the link in the description, type in AS as in Alpha Sierra 200, and it don't make a difference. It may come up V on the end as in Victor, but it doesn't really make a difference. And then you can buy them used. They're not that bad. They I don't even remember what the price is on it, but see you, Gail. Yeah, there's some other people that are going to want to go to West Branch too. When it warms up a little bit, who knows when that'll be. But as far as having an action cam like this will start you off and get you going. If you want to try even cheaper yet, you can try an AS30, I think the model is. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Oh, don't have my keyboard. Hold on. It's let's see. Sorry about this, guys, but I want to give you correct information on this. Sony. And these are old. These are old monitors. Man, they're wanting to charge, forget that. They're wanting to charge $150 for an old AS30. Let me see if the AS20 is any cheaper. The further you go back in these numbers, the worse they are as quality, but they still do a pretty good job. They're trying to charge $83 for those old AS20s. I had one. I think that's too much. They're used. People know they're good cameras, so I mean, you can buy. The problem is for somebody to buy this even used. I'm telling you about an AS200V, and unless you do eBay, which I don't trust 100%, you're going to find people that say, "Oh my God, this camera is an awesome camera," like I'm talking about it now. And I think that you should get one of these cameras. So they go in and look, and they can go to Amazon. You can only find them used, and they're $235. The only reason somebody would buy that for $235 is because it was such a good camera, and they know it's bulletproof. And they know buying from Amazon, you don't have a tendency to get any junk. However, you could go eBay, and this is definitely going to be cheaper. It's a catch-22. I don't know how you feel about that. Hi, Mary Lou. Good morning. Ken Rao. Hi from the UK. How are you? Across the pond. Dashcam on motorhome was a motion detector that worked when parked. Know who is around. Yeah, the dash cam on the new Vicam can be set to run so many minutes before it shuts off. As far as the motion detector, though, I'd have to set the G sensor to where it was really sensitive, to the point where just the wind would blow and it would set it off. So I don't know if I do that. iPhone 6. Yeah, Jay Super's right. I mean, if you have a smartphone, the problem, Jay, that he had, Jay Wall wanted to do, is definitely mount it up on top of his truck while he was driving, and I don't think I'd want to put my phone up outside, up on top of my truck, driving down or on top of the trailer, looking down on the truck as he towed. It's just the scene. 2 for RV. Hello from Florida. Hi from Florida. You guys are in much better shape than we are. That's for sure. It's pretty sunny outside, but it's still kind of cold today. If you're wanting to stay with again, I mean, as far as action cams, and if you don't mind spending the money, this is, as far as I'm concerned, the best action cam you can buy currently. Now, the GoPro Hero, the most latest one that they have, gets close to this one, but the reason is image stabilization. This has digital image stabilization to where it takes the image and it adjusts it digitally within the frame. If it notices that movement's happening too much, it makes a correction. However, this one has something that no other action cam on the market had whenever this came out, and that's optical image stabilization, to where when you move this, there's actually a moving part inside that actually moves this. This model here, again, just click the link down below and it will take you to Amazon. Type in an FDR, as in Foxtrot Delta Romeo, and then X3000, and you'll get this, and you'll get the option of getting the live view remote. Now, I had to buy this tripod mount thing separately, so I can set it up and we can do little blogs. I also got some dead fuzzy cat on here, so it cuts down on the wind noise. Again, this will come with a waterproof case that you can mount it outside your vehicle. The battery on this one's pretty good too, and of course, this is the one we use and we shoot with almost all the time. It works really well. Sitting at 0 Fahrenheit today, going up to 30 in Alberta, Canada. Yeah, you guys are definitely colder than us. Everything RV by Pat. Good morning. How are you? Ken, followed your channel for a long time. Yeah, that's right. I think that you sent me a message some time ago, and I think I still have it. I told Heidi to keep it. Let me see if I can. I don't even know where I kept it at, to tell you the truth. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because, yeah, you had some good insight on what you wanted to see, and I don't know if I still have it here. Let me see. Ken Rao, ken.janey@gmail.com. I kept your email, Ken. Yeah, I've been trying to incorporate one of the things that you said. I have a pretty good memory about stuff. And you suggested that I try to make sure that I put location from where I was shooting from or where we were at. And that's one of the reasons during our Florida trip that I did that map with an arrow pointing to all the locations we were going and way we were traveling. Just because of your mail, Ken. That's how powerful the internet is, huh? 5 to 7 inches of snow in Wisconsin. What? We're supposed to get some snow later this week, but they haven't said how much. Going to get the Lance factory on Wednesday. Looking forward to that video coming out soon. Hey, that 2375, there's a new one. Still ski season here in Northeast Ohio. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially out of Brandywine. I know that they've been skiing pretty decent out there. So I've heard from other people. I don't ski. But the 2375, Pat, there's another RV that hopefully you see out there. It's a brand new one. Lancaster, Ohio. All I know about Lancaster, hey, Charlem, do you know anybody named Robert? All right, I forget his last name, so just scratch that. He's from Lancaster. I drove through there, and I know you have a big water tower. It says Lancaster on it. That was a long time ago. Last time I drove through there was in 1988. I drove through there in 88. Robert. I can't remember what Robert's last name was. If I can remember it, I'll split it out here. He was from there. He lived there quite a few years. Anyways, getting back to everything RV by Pat. The Lance Factory. They came out with a brand new double-door RV. I believe it was double door, and it's big. It's the biggest one that they make. I can't remember the model number. It's brand new. It's the biggest, longest RV that Lance makes right now, and it's not a toy hauler. And I liked it. I liked it a lot, even more than the 2375. It's got some features that still aren't the best, but 7 to 8 foot drifts here. Oh my word. You guys, man, I'm going to have to quit complaining about the snow. Yeah, Pat, definitely get some footage of that. I'd like to see that. Making Stuff, what's up? I missed your live stream. Glad you caught ours. That's something that we had on our calendar. I seen that you had it, and I don't know how we missed it. I don't know why my phone didn't ring. I'm sometimes a little scatterbrained, so I try to set a timer for that. So, anyways, getting back to the action cams for dash cam for all around cameras. To get started, if you guys want to get started in having an RV channel, also whenever you're out RVing, your phone, if you have a good smartphone. I think it notified me initially whenever you scheduled it, Making Stuff. But I don't remember if it told me that you were live. I don't recall that. That I don't remember. I think whenever you first scheduled it, I think I got a notification. I wonder if they were just happy with that and they didn't go any further and didn't give any other notification. Not sure. The smartphone thing, though, everybody pretty much has smartphones. Don't get caught up in a few things. Oh, somebody did mention, I'm sorry, let me see if I can go back. Who was it that said something about a drone? I'm not a big drone fan. Outdoor Life. Yeah, you would think that I would, but honestly, okay, here's where I probably get, people not liking some of the stuff that I say, because I know a lot of people love to have, listen, I like toys as much as the next person, but that to me is just definitely a toy. And the reason is the amount of, first of all, how much they cost for a decent one. Secondly, the amount of real estate that they take up. Even those little Mavic ones, I mean, they're pretty small. But still, how delicate they are. I know people wreck them a few times, but eventually, I mean, you're basically taking your camera and letting it hit the ground. And I don't like doing that even with my phone, let alone, a camera of any kind. Even though the capture and the internals are pretty well protected on those things. The second thing is, and this is where I have a problem, the last thing I want to do is go out in a campground and the peace and quiet and have that flying around stuff. It is so loud and annoying, and that's the first thing I think of whenever I see these people flying drones over campgrounds is, man, how many people are ticked off about that? How many other campers are going, what the heck's that noise, and why am I hearing it? All for me to take a photo. I mean, me walking down talking to myself is, obnoxious enough. If I put some sort of buzzer on this that buzzes the whole time, I mean, that's something else entirely different. Now, as far as the capture and the footage and everything, I think it's a great perspective. I love seeing the overall views, and I like seeing some of the shots, the flyby shots and stuff like that. Not in campgrounds, though. Not in the campgrounds. I think that it has to be out quite a ways. Ohio is kind of an anti-drone state. More and more regulations are being put on the books. Yeah, I'll tell you my experience locally with one, and I was kind of offended. There's a neighbor that's, when I say neighbor, I mean we have neighbors that are kind of close, but there's a guy that lives probably a pure 100% true to length 2 football fields away from the house here. And he flew that thing down over top of my garage when I was out working in the garage. And when I came out, it was hovering there looking at me. I mean, it was up, don't get me wrong, pretty decent, but still. The airport that we have is a quarter of a mile away. And we have planes that fly over and parachuters that, again, the sound inside my garage when the doors are open, you guys probably know whenever I'm shooting video, you can hear cars going up and down the street so clear. The garage kind of, megaphones it into whatever, into my ears or whatever I might be filming with. I can hear parachuters pulling their chutes whenever they're dropping, from the plane. I can hear when they pull their chutes, and I can hear when they're hooping and hollering, because they do skydiving here all the time. And depending on the wind, they start over here and they, work their ways back over to the airport. And I didn't like the fact that this guy was just kind of flying this thing around. I have mixed feelings about it, because on one hand, I do like some of the shots that it gives. I like that overall perspective. On the other hand, though, with the money that's involved and all the crap, the regulations that's coming along, as Jay Super mentioned, especially in Ohio, and the noise that they generate, I just don't think it's something I'll ever get into. I'll tell you what I think is the ideal, and here, I'll give you guys $1 million idea. I have these all the time. Maybe not $1 million, but something you might be able to work with. And they probably even have it now. I just don't know about it. I don't know why somebody doesn't have helium-filled cameras. Just have little blimps that are tethered on a rope. There's nothing, you can fly a kite. So, yeah, well, Roy, I see that you say that the FAA rules prohibit that. I'm within a quarter mile, and they fly it. Here's the problem. Where's the FAA at? They're not sitting on the corner here just, with a FAA cop wanting to come out and ticket whoever they can. The airport can report them. We're out in the boonies. We don't even have a contract with the local sheriff. So if you have a dispute going on with your neighbor, he's got a hatchet, you've got a sledgehammer, and you guys are going to go at it, and somebody across the street calls the sheriff, the sheriff's going to say, well, can you go over there and talk to them about it? Or can you put one of them on the phone? Because they're not going to drive out here. They don't have a contract to patrol out here. Now, if somebody gets shot, they show up. So as far as the FAA taking care of stuff, that's just like FCC as far as I'm concerned. They'll eventually get you if you're a repeat offender, but that guy's done it a few times and he's never been caught. But yeah, the blimp, I don't know why they don't get some sort of a rigid blimp that you fill with helium, put it on a tether. If you can fly a kite, you can fly a blimp, and just put it up in the air, especially on days that aren't real windy. I mean, it's same with the drone. If it's a real windy day, you can't really put the drone up too much. I mean, say with the blimp, go ahead and put it up, on a tether and put it up relatively high. You can put it up pretty high there. Again, the wind's going to screw around with it, but even if the blimp had some sort of propulsion on it that maybe is not motors, maybe it's not electric motors, maybe it's just compressed air that might give little bursts to push it in the direction it needs to go. I mean, I'm old man. Old man. I love that. But the whole drone thing is it's just too noisy for me. I mean, I used to be one of the biggest offenders when I was younger with vehicles and cars. I don't even like how loud my truck is, and I've got, other than not having catalytic converters on it, I have a full exhaust on it. But when I was younger, man, I had headers and cherry bombs, or well, not cherry bombs, the thrush bird mufflers. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah, there you go. Google Kite aerial photography. Yeah, you could do that. Those aerial kites, those guys are good with those. I don't know though. They would be working both hands there and working it. Oh, sure. I guess you could also work the joystick to operate that. As far as the footage that we get, I know that we're not good with cinematography. Heidi has a real nice DSLR. She's going to learn how to shoot, you know, and take photos the best way she knows how. But as far as our capturing, I've always told Heidi from day one that we want to keep the channel relatively raw and unpolished. And of course, that's not hard to do. That makes everything a little bit easier. I'd rather make sure that whatever I have to say can be translated, maybe not so much through me talking, but you guys hearing it and deciding what you think about it. But just to give you ideas of what's happening is the main concern about this channel. If you're looking at Lance trailers, also look at the brand called Outdoors R. But like tank, yeah, Jay, I like that Outdoor R, the Northwood, the Arctic Fox, and Outdoors. I like all those brands out there. I'd have to go out there. I got to drive out there and look at that stuff. The Lances, there's, like I say, there's one that's relatively close. The Outdoors are, let me think, the Outdoors, or at least the Northwoods, the Northwood ones. I like that they have the better suspension on them, and I like that some of them come with the shocks. I like the suspended tanks. Yeah, Ken, the 2375 Lance, there's a new model that's out that's, I think, even better than that one, potentially, that just came out. I like that the tanks are suspended, but then again, the Lance, I mean, it has the torsion axles. Those are okay. They definitely smooth out the ride. The whole RV thing, though, Heidi and I's gone back and forth, and it's like this. Whenever we get to this time of year, whenever we're stuck inside, we're just happy with. Yeah, I saw that Outdoors RV. Let me give you a shout out for that real quick. Let me get a drink though. Excuse me, guys. Okay, if you guys want to see Outdoors RV, the brand Outdoors RV, that's a brand, just like you have Fleetwood or Airstream. Outdoors makes RVs, and it's called Outdoors RV. It's not a RV location or anything like that. It's an actual manufacturer. They're out west. They have a lot of RVs out there, and they have a get together, like a sponsored get together, an Outdoors RV, outdoors. Come and look at all of our stuff. Everybody that has them can come. They can all mingle. They can meet, and you can see all the new models. Of course, that's out west. So you guys that are out west that might be watching this, which it'd be awful early for you. It's not too bad, I guess. It's definitely in the morning, though. That's a place that they, something they do every year that you can go check out their stuff. There's nothing out here. There's nothing in this coast there, or even close to us. So Jay Super, one of my longtime subscribers, he kind of got involved and put together one over here, closer to us. I think it was Indiana. He's got Cook Forest State Park. It's on July 20th through the 22nd. And he's got 8 of them that's signed up so far. It's a rally for the owners, but anybody that might be interested in it could probably sign up and check it out. Um, yeah, Denver. God, can you believe that? Um, the you can go out and check out the owners' units out there. You know, so you can see what they look like and what they offer. The meet is not sponsored by Outdoors RV in any manner. There's no funding or anything like that. This is just the get together that he's put together so you can go look at their units. We thought about it. We've thought about going out there and taking a look at them because, you know, it's an RV trip. I don't know what we'll be doing then, but it's an RV trip, and it might be something we'll be willing to fly through and take a look at. Get us a peek at them. I know they're good. I know they're good quality and everything. But getting back to what Heidi was saying, you know, there's a large group of oh, good, thanks, Jay. Yeah, anyone's welcome at that RV get together. So, Cook Forest State Park, July 20th through the 22nd. Hey, Roy, you definitely don't want to move to this area. Call the local police. What local police? We don't have police. I don't have any police here. If I go out my front yard and start shooting up in the air, somebody will show up, but we don't have any local police here. Yeah, you definitely don't want to live out here. Like I said, we don't even have a contract with the sheriff. The only way the sheriff shows up is if there's a shooting. And even then, the closest sheriff's post is in Lisbon, and it's about 25 miles away. Yeah, I am the sheriff. Jake called it. Jay Super says, I am the sheriff. I should be. I'm on the corner. I can see everything. Got a couple cameras out there. So anyways, the get together that he's having is Cook Forest State Park, July 20th and the 22nd. The thing that we found is that, and Heidi and I talked about it, a lot of you shoot the drone myself. I could probably get away with it. Here. Definitely. I got a little 410 shotgun that would be just about right to take it down. Anyways, our viewers, we found that we have a lot of viewers that are on both sides of the fence with us and a new RV. I don't know if you guys can see where this is going to with me being as cheap as I am, but we have a lot of people that have been watching because we've done all this RV shopping and we've walked through all these tons of different RVs and talked about all the different features that we like and dislike and what we're looking for. And there's a whole group of people that are all kind of rooting for us and can't wait to see what we buy and, you know, have us talk about it and, you know, long term and all that stuff. And there's a part of us that thinks about that too. Then there's another whole group of people, and it's equal to the first group that I just mentioned, that they want us to continue on the budget route because they are budget type people themselves. Maybe they don't have the ability to buy something that's even $15,000, let alone something that's $40,000. So they like the fact that we have a small, older RV that we make repairs on, and we have a smaller than probably what's needed for a big RV, but we have an old truck that we maintain and use. I don't know if you guys can appreciate that diversity there, but think about people that are watching our channel, because I don't know if you guys do this. Everybody subscribes to a lot of different RVers. How many of you used to watch Chris Travels before it was Chris and G Travels? And whenever he used to travel around in his van, and he traveled in his van and did a vlog for, I don't even know, it was like a year and a half. And he was going to Canada in his van. He was living in his van. He was having all these problems with his old van, you know, this crazy old van. And whenever he and G started traveling together, things started changing a little bit. And then they got into that motorhome. And when they got into that Class A, they had a lot of viewers that gave them a lot of flack. Oh, cool, you met them. I didn't know that. That's awesome. But a lot of viewers that they had, longtime viewers that started watching them, gave them a lot of flack and said, man, you're selling out. You got a girl with you, and all of a sudden your van's not good enough. And now you're into this making a payment, bank-owned RV. And they lost that ability to relate to them and be able to, understand. They could have they were kind of living through them. It's like anything. You can only live through a person vicariously if you can associate with that person to some extent. And whenever they had now him driving this beat up old van, everybody, pretty much anybody could associate with him, except for the people that were like, I could not live in that little van. It's too small and it's too old. But whenever he got into the motorhome, he got a whole different group of people, because most people, when they want to do RVing, when they first want to jump into it, without knowing anything, they immediately think, I can't wait. I want to get a big motorhome I can drive, a big Class A. So many people say that. And then when they get it, the honeymoon's over after they've had it for 6 months and they realize what a pain in the butt it is. That's not always true. There's a lot of people that have motorhomes that continue with them, and they're, more than happy with that. But they lost viewership because of that, and they went in a different direction. I don't think they were happy. And you can see now how they are back into that old refurbished, let's make it work type situation, because he's got that schoolie. He's bought this old schoolie for dirt cheap, and he's trying to sell the Class A, and they're going to get into that schoolie. It's kind of the situation we're wanting to we've discussed, and it plays into the fact that if we decide the one heavy factor that keeps on leaning us towards this old truck and this old RV is that it's already paid for and it doesn't cost us any additional money except for whatever repairs we make on it. That makes that weighted decision, that makes the decision for that, this is getting weighted down to where it's not elevating the new one. It's making the one going towards the bottom be our choice. So, yeah, Zep. That's what it was, Zep. You're right. The Mike, you and Heidi have to live for you, not your viewers. If you want to get a new one, get a new one. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We thought about it, and Jay Wall, you're right. Getting payments we would regret, because we love not living with payments. But again, there's 20 different directions this would go. So let me try to give you all the trains of thought that go through my head as fast as possible and as coherently as possible when it comes to buying a new one. A new one allow me to do quite a few modifications as far as installing solar, mounting a generator, enclosing the underside, or making sure the underside's enclosed for winterization, maybe upgraded suspension and some upgraded features. Once I have decided that that's going to be the camper we're going to be in, I'm willing to spend $2,000 to install solar on it, and also spend, whatever time and money and engineering that's needed to mount a generator on it. And make it ours, maybe put different, a bed in there, a better mattress if it didn't come with one. Now, that's not to say I can't do that with the one I have, but I have to make that decision. And then if down the road I want to go to a new one, now I've got to figure out, do I want to transfer all that stuff over to my new one, or do I want to let it go with the old one? It's really tough to say. I mean, it's a, that's wasted money. This is where the overthinking part comes in. I could just go out tomorrow and start hacking up this RV and putting everything I could think of that I want on there. Like I say, solar, mounting the generator, relocating propane tanks, changing the interior, repainting the inside, everything. But if we decide to do that, we're now, kind of married to that RV to some extent, to where we have to drive it and use it for a little bit longer, at least for probably 5 years. And if we get into a situation where now those exposed tanks that are underneath start freezing up. Or I find that maybe some of the welds start cracking or something on the frame from, the suspension. All that could be an issue. That could definitely be an issue. I don't want that to happen. And I know that might be, an issue that always could happen on anything, even a new one. Now, on the other hand, if I buy a new one, I know at that point I've got payments. I got to pay that thing off before we go. That's a plus that we have some time left before we go. That gives me time to pay that off. I could probably pay off a $30,000 RV in a year, 2 years time. I could do it in 2 years time, 3 years time at the most. I could pay that off. Buckle down, but that would limit us on a lot of other things. Don't get me wrong. We would run our budget, string budget. It would be very thin, so that it wouldn't allow us to do the stuff that we normally would, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, we're getting something we want. But then that new one, of course, I need to load it up with all the stuff that I want at that point, a Wi-Fi Ranger, all that stuff. But, yeah, Jay, you're right. Whenever we go full time, we won't have that payment. The only thing that I want to have coming out of my monthly pay that is, coming out regularly is whatever we need for data usage and whatever we need to live. I mean, we went through a list, Heidi and I, on all these fixed things that we need. See you, Ken. Take it easy over there. Hopefully you guys are getting better weather than the States are this year. We've got some weird stuff going on. I don't know if it's been cold and hot, but I haven't seen much in the UK. We've got some weird storms come through, but luckily we haven't seen anything on the news, so you guys must be doing pretty good. But yeah, thanks, and I'm glad you chimed in. Yeah, it's 6:30. It's time to eat. Thanks. But yeah, I think that there's a hard choice to be made there, and as far as the time being, staying with this one makes that choice almost easy. 6 inches of snow, forget that. You can keep that. The worst part about the UK that I don't like is all the rain. Although, you guys live with it. I can't. I don't like. I don't mind rain. I don't mind rain in the amount of that we get it here. I don't think I could handle rain like Seattle, where they're raining all the time, or even there. I know you guys get a lot of rain too. I do see nice days though. Take it easy, Ken. So it's making it easier for us to stay with this RV. So we haven't really pushed the issue of getting into a new one. It's tough. It's really tough to say. And again, staying with this RV, putting a backup camera on it, putting a Wi-Fi Ranger on it, putting solar on it, relocating the tanks, changing the interior the way we want it, and mounting a generator on it. I mean, all those things are great video content for this channel. A lot of you would probably love to see all that go down. So that, those same things could be done on a newer one, but yeah, older. We keep on leaning towards this one, and it's because of this time of year. I've been stuck in this house for most of the winter, and the little bit that we've got out is for taking care of snow, which I can't stand. And I think about that RV out there's freedom just sitting there. I mean, all I've got to do is hook up currently to what I have in my driveway paid for, and now I just got to figure out how to pay for the expenses that's involved of being on the road. If I have a new RV, that changes. However, we do need something a little bit bigger, I think. We don't know for sure, so this keeps on. Again, this leads us towards staying with the old one. Because why not check to see if once we remodel this and get the seating the way we want it, maybe this will work out just fine. Because quite honestly, towing this thing is a dream. The biggest obstacle I have with that old RV, this is the biggest one by far, is the tanks being exposed to the weather. The gray tank and the black tank and all the valves and everything are exposed. I can run heating pads on the bottom of the tanks, but that's still not going to help keeping the heat. Those heating pads would just eat up whatever energy we're hooked up to. So it's tough. It's really tough. How many nights per month on average do you spend in the trailer? Well, when we're full timing, it'll be every night. So that's a good consideration for somebody that's just RVing. But this whole thing that we're doing is going to full time. We've never thought that this one would be our full time RV trailer, but the more we think about it, the more we're thinking that we might be able to make it work. And I've always said this. Yeah, you're right, Jay. I'm reading what Jay Super said. He says any RV current, another used one or a brand new one, you both have to agree. This is the right one. We looked for 18 months. The wifey said this is the one, and he's absolutely right there. We both neither one of us have just jumped off our chairs and said this is the one. I am definitely we talked about the problem with renting a larger unit for a week. First of all, the money that's outlaid. I mean, that's probably about $400 to get a decent one for the week. And the thing is I can pull a bigger trailer. I can I can negotiate a bigger trailer, and being in a bigger trailer is nice. It's just at what expense? Because getting a bigger trailer means $40,000 or $16,000 if I want to keep it cheap. And you get what you pay for. Some of these people that I spoke with that have newer ones that they paid cheap said, you know what, your old one's built a lot better than these new ones are, the newer cheap ones. I believe it. I mean, you got to figure this is a 1992, and as far as the structure goes, this thing even had a roof leak that it had been leaking. I don't know how many years it had been leaking in the roof, and yet the structure is solid, except for what I had to replace on the roof. I had to redo trusses and stuff like that and put all new wood and stuff down up on the roof. But as far as in the walls or anything like that, the water exited. I don't know. It must have just went in and went out. And as far as the structure itself, when we drive down some of the roughest roads that we've gone down so far, we're actually not horrible. We're not talking the Alcan or anything like that. But we've been down some pretty rough roads. And we've gone into the RV. The refrigerator's not open. The cabinets they're not open. They're not, stuff falling out. Nothing's bounced around considerably. I mean, structurally, it's pretty tight, and it was made pretty well. We haven't had any problems. Again, the biggest fault of this trailer is it sits kind of low to the ground. So, we've gone in and out of drives that the bumpers drug. Whenever you get on unlevel sites, since it's so low, it's hard that you can only drop the tongue so far down to level it out before it bottoms itself out. And the tanks underneath are exposed and all the piping and the valves. So we would have to heat it and enclose those tanks somehow. But again, our space is limited. I think I could probably build something underneath there. You know what? Maybe I should look into that. Yet another project that we could do a video on, and other people would be able to do the same thing. I think that you don't have any slides, do you? Once you go with slides, you won't want to go back. I don't know about slides. I wouldn't mind a small slide, but no, I don't have any slides on there. And again, if we're traveling all the time, this would be different if we pick, and this may change. Again, how do you choose an RV? This is overthinking. This is me overthinking the problem. How do you choose an RV that you may want to live in full time on the road traveling when you don't know what it's like currently in the RV that you have? I mean, I know we have a little bit of limited space, but it's doable. If I'm traveling all the time, where I have a slide that I need to put out every night that I stop, or to put out every night to be comfortable, that's going to make me not want an RV with a slide. Or if it is a slide, it's got to be a small slide. That's if I'm traveling around a lot. Let's say I'm doing 10,000 miles a year or 12,000 miles a year. If I'm not doing that many miles, and we have a tendency to go to one location for 6 months to 10 months, maybe even a year, maybe we're at one location for a whole year, and then we get up and move and we go somewhere else and we stay for 7 months. Then we get up and move and we go somewhere else for 10 months. Now that whole travel aspect of being mobile and being able to get in and out of places and whatever, we may face, and putting out the slide and taking it back in every time we stop, that's not an issue. So now your decision on buying an RV is completely different. You're now looking at a bigger RV and something that has maybe slides and has some other features that doesn't need to make, to where it has to be so mobile and so agile. So it's tough. It's really tough to make that decision sitting from a chair. So again, to err on the cheap side, we could keep our no slide small RV that might be a little bit limited on space. We can make the accommodations we need to make it the way we think we want it. And just from our camping in it and using it so far, and travel in it and see if we get to the point where we just say, hey, we need something different. At that point, Traveling Robert, how are you, sir? We've got royalty with us. So as far as staying with the RV that we currently have, that might be something that is almost a definite at this point. We're still going to most likely shop, though, because we enjoy shopping. You guys like seeing the RVs. And we're always open to look at new ones. There's always something a little bit different. I've made the unfair assessment of looking at these new RVs and seeing, great, glad to hear, Robert. Jay Wall also says, hey, Robert, hey, I haven't been able to, unfortunately for you guys that have just joined, for whatever reason, using this OBS software, I haven't been able to do the pop-up chat and being able to copy it and put it in a browser window for it to recognize it. It just says the video is not available, so I'll do that in the near future. Again, I'm just working out the bugs on this live chat. I was concerned about my video and the audio more than anything else. But spend more nights in an RV, even if just in the driveway. Learn what you like and don't like. Yeah, you're right, Pat. We've spent enough time in that RV. We know right now what we like and don't like about it. Like I said, our trip through Florida there, it was 2,900 miles. We did it in a couple weeks, and I think we stayed 2 nights in one location was the longest. And we found things that we liked and disliked. I love that RV for its length and its size and being able to move around. Slide one, bootleg hours. Yeah. Jay, you know the importance, Jay, of having. He says 90% right about slide when boondocking. Ours with a slide is 100% usable with a slide closed. Yeah, absolutely. I would have to have one that you could use everything with the slide closed. Maybe not a cabinet or something, but it can't block the fridge or anything like that. So I think that we're going to err on, or I'm sorry, going back to what I was saying. I made the unfair assessment that you go through these RVs and it seems like no matter what the manufacturer is, you walk in and you go, yep, it's a rear bunkhouse, looks the same, or front living room, or I'm sorry, front bedroom, yep, looks the same. It seems like they're all cookie cutter. However, they're always changing a little bit, and there's little features that we like, and some of the furnishings and stuff. The most recent one that we loved is the Grand Design 2500 RL. It was a dual door. It sets relatively low. It has incredible insulation. It's made very well. It is quality inside. It wasn't very expensive. It was roughly $25,000, if I'm not mistaken, was the price on it. The features were nice. I mean, when you first walk in, they had dual recliners with cup holders, lighted cup holders with heat and massage chairs. I mean, that almost sold me right there. Those are the kind of little features that I liked. And it had a nice walk-through bathroom. You could access everything with a slide in. It's probably on top of our list as far as inexpensive ones. There's another one that I think Coleman makes, if I'm not mistaken. And again, whenever you get cheaper, you know, it makes it a little bit tougher. That's only, I think it was only $13,000, and it was enclosed underside. It was, you know, it was pretty good. It was pretty decent, and it was only 13,000. Again, that's something that's pretty reasonable. But I think we want to stick with our old RV. I think I'd like to remodel it, you know, because I can, and make the changes that we can, and that way we can shoot video and document it, and kind of let our decision making go from there. I don't think solar will go in this year. Coleman's are cheap. Run, don't walk away. Yeah, a lot of them are pretty cheap. I mean, there's a lot of these cheap models that out there that, like I say, the Grand Design is probably one of the better quality ones for the money. The Winnebago was pretty nice that we looked at. I like that, and they just got bought by, I think, Thor Industries, and I think Grand Design is also made by Thor Industries. I've noticed that a lot of Thor Industry stuff is pretty decent. The Forest River, that's a hit and miss. I really don't know what kind of quality control. I would never buy, and please, nobody get offended by this, I would never buy a Forest River branded product that said Forest River on the outside of it. I know people have good luck with some of them. I don't see any that I really care for. I see some poor engineering. But yeah, that 200-watt portable solar suitcase unit, we're looking at that. That might get us by, and we may do that. But the Coleman, which is also made by Forest River. I'm sorry, Coachman. The Coachman that's made by Forest River. Seems like their quality control is a little bit better on that one. So I don't know how each entity works in conjunction with the main headquarters under the Forest River umbrella. I don't know if they're given, you know, full control over their brand for the most part and quality, but yeah, it's tough to say. It's really tough to say. Open range light. I looked at the open ranges, Pat, and I liked them. I didn't see anything that I didn't like about them. I think that they had I like the Asdel siding. I think that the open range had fiberglass, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember if it was a laminate, but I like the way they look. I like their design on the outside. I like their colors and everything. They're very subdued for the most part, although they make a statement still. Some of these toy haulers, again, if you guys got toy haulers, no offense, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Some of these toy haulers, man, they look like a circus wagon. They got so many stripes and bold design. We kid around because, you know, it's like Thundercat or Lightning Bolt or whatever's bold and you know, obnoxious. It reminds me of like 70s muscle car paint jobs. You know, grabber orange or hugger orange or grabber blue or you know, tangerine or Pink Panther or whatever. It's like those 70s cars. The names that they had and that paint that they had was just outlandish to show everybody, hey, look at me, I have a muscle car. Well, the toy haulers seem to do the same thing with their names. They are like crazy. They're just crazy names and their stripes and they're, you know, big, bold, and loud and everything else that goes along with them. I'm kind of not into that. I would rather kind of stay a little bit more subdued. J-Wall, gotta go. Thanks for all the info. Will buy through your link if I do. Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Just go in and take a look. Again, the old Sony camcorders, if you are just wanting to get into an action cam for a dash cam or mounting like this old AS200V, I love it. It's great. And you can get the LCD cradled, again, to make it a camcorder, so you can do more than just use it for an action cam on a stick. You can monitor it through your phone. You can get a live view remote that goes on your wrist, so you can see what you're filming. You can control what you're filming through your phone or your wrist. And the action cam itself, not in the cradle, you can just set it out in the rain. It doesn't need any external case or anything like that. It is pretty much waterproof. They call it splash proof, but you could put it in like a foot of water and pull it right back out and it'd be fine. So if you're dropping it in the toilet, no big deal. Just get it out, back out again. And then, of course, the X3000. This one is a step above and beyond. It does all the same thing that the other one does. It's just a little bit better for image stabilization. The only thing I don't like is that the LiveView remote that comes with the new one isn't waterproof or water resistant like the old LiveView remote. Even though the LiveView remote that came with this one is still available and will fit in this exact same tripod and everything, it doesn't do the kind of functions that this one does with this camera, so it's kind of a catch-22. It's kind of hard to say what you guys are looking for, but definitely have to say that as far as 528, oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. 528, wow. I think I paid, if I'm not mistaken, I paid $500 without this tripod mount. It came with the LiveView remote, but of course I got it when they first came out. Amazon just got them in inventory whenever I bought it. Northeast Florida. Hi, Chris Hall. How are you? So, yeah, Jay Wall, we also patronize it. Thank you, Jay Super. You guys, again, I hate to hash on this because it almost borders e-begging, and I don't believe in that. But if you guys are ever thinking about purchasing anything from Amazon, and all my videos, including this one too, I'll put a little link in the description. Just click that link and it'll take you to Amazon. At that point, do whatever you want. Buy packs of tube socks. Don't buy anything. It doesn't make a difference. Just whenever you go in and shop or you look at anything, just use the link. And if you do decide to purchase something, there is a little bit of a proceed that gets paid. I mean, some of the stuff, it's crazy. You could buy a book, a digital book, and I might actually get $1 from it. Then again, you might buy, you know, this mouse that might be $40, and I'd get 50 cents for it. It's just crazy that the way that they figure out your money and what's worth what. But oh, cool, making stuff. Used my link yesterday. Awesome. You guys are great. What great subscribers I have. So the fact that we have that Amazon link is just to generate an income, and quite honestly, I try not to depend on any of it. Same with the YouTube. Jay Super's trying to do it for everybody. He's a one-man wrecking crew. He splits all his Amazon purchases over 4 different YouTube channels. Blacktop Boondogger, does Amazon sell cars? Huh. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think they sell cars. Maybe some sort of an electric thing. They sell electric bikes. They sell scooters. I don't think they sell cars, though. But, yeah, I appreciate it. Heading my way. We were testing out those recliners on the 2500 RL. Yeah, we love the 25 RL. I was looking real hard at the Imagine travel trailers. We ended up with a Cougar RBI. Yeah, the Cougars. We've looked at Cougars too. I like Cougars. What do I think about Patreon? This is Making Stuff is asking me about Patreon. I signed up for Patreon some long ago. I don't know, maybe a year ago, and I didn't know how to utilize it correctly, and I still don't know how to utilize it. Patreon is just a place for somebody to support YouTube creators or a channel like this. And what I find is that you would have to put no matter what you do, you have to put such a huge effort into any kind of side project that may generate revenue. So whenever you have a YouTube channel and you want to do stuff like this, you want to live stream, you want to create videos, you want to put up videos, and you want them to be pretty decent. There's a lot of time that's involved there. And, you know, editing and keeping internet connection while you're on the road and all that stuff, and trying to make it entertaining to some extent too. I have a website also. That website, I have not even looked at my website in over 2 months, let alone do any additions or subtractions to it. because all the time that I spend on that website then takes away from the YouTube channel. However, if that website could generate some sort of an income and traffic, then I need to take away from what I'm doing with YouTube and go do that. So there are times that I've stepped away from YouTube, from doing what I normally do, and I've dove into my website. And I'm going to have to do that again, and I hate it because it takes away time of me doing this. If you have the Patreon, it would be the same. Yeah, Jay's kind of right. I would have to put more time into my channel, but it wouldn't be the YouTube channel. It would be the Patreon. So now it's taken away from all you viewers that don't want anything to do with Patreon. It would take away from you guys. And Patreon, the way it's geared is for people to have special access to content that you don't get on normal YouTube broadcast. So let's say I found a way to mount my generator on my RV that is the easiest way for that specific generator, and I make a real nice generator, but I do the whole project. I can put that on Patreon and say, listen, if you want to donate and make a donation of $2 a month or $1 a month, you will have access to all these exclusive videos that I have on this channel. There will be a link there that you can go and watch these videos. I don't want to do that to my YouTube viewers, because I like my YouTube viewers. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how I feel about it. I tried Patreon, and I just put it up there for anybody that would like to donate to the channel, just to help support our channel. The YouTube channel, the one that you're going to get the content regardless. You could give me $1 a month. You could give me $10 a month. You could give me $100 a month. But a guy that stumbles in and finds our channel on YouTube for the very first time, he's going to see the exact same content that's available. Now, I thought about making it to where we could have live one-on-one chat for anybody that subscribed above a certain dollar amount, a month. I don't know if some people would like that. I mean, to the point where I was actually thinking about making it to where you could take, your smartphone, and I would Skype with you directly on the smartphone, to where you could go out to your RV and you can ask me questions about repairs that you want to do, or suggestions, or, I mean, even, if you're out on the road and you've got a problem with your tow vehicle, if you want to talk to me and see if I could help you out troubleshooting over the phone. There's only so much that can be done, not with hands-on, but I didn't know if that was anything that somebody would be willing to do. To have me in their back pocket by paying, a certain dollar amount a month just in case. It's kind of like an insurance. And I don't know what kind of value that I could provide, for that. I don't know if it would be something that you wanted to hear. Patreon's something that you got to commit to, and you've got to jump into just as much as YouTube. So if you think that for me, having 3 YouTube channels gets a little overwhelming sometimes, but if I had, but Mike, if you have 4,000 subs, they call you day and night. Yeah, it's true. But the only way they would get through is if they were able to donate a certain dollar amount monthly for them to have access to that professional one-on-one. I'll call it professional, since I'd be getting paid for that. That makes me a professional. But anything that you have to do now, whenever we got into the Twitter, too demanding of my time. You're right. Whenever you get into like Twitter, Heidi signed up for that. She wants to do the photo part of it. I told her to run with it. I said, she just, one day I said, somebody's asking about Twitter. I said, what's that? She goes, I signed up for it, and I said, good, you do that. And Facebook, the same thing with Facebook. The funny thing is being a guy that likes to stick with something that works. I mean, I go through and I've actually special ordered shoes that have been out of date for 3 years because I like the old shoes that I had. They just wore out. I like YouTube and the format and the interaction that I get with everybody. It just works for me. The fact that now we have Twitter and we also have Facebook, and you have Facebook Live, and you can post pictures on Facebook, and then Twitter, you can post videos and stuff. I'm not sure what all that redundancy is for, except for other people that are like Twitter fans, and they love Twitter, and they want to stick with Twitter mainly, and occasionally they go to YouTube, or occasionally they go to Facebook, and then, of course, the same holds true for Facebook. Sometimes they hold Facebook to their heart, and that's where they spend all their time, like Heidi, and occasionally they go to YouTube, or occasionally they go to Twitter. I can't see putting the time that's involved in making any one of those platforms greater than the other. Or instead of having 3 platforms that are pretty good overall, I would rather have one platform that just seems to be better than all the rest. And that's kind of why I focused to YouTube. I don't know how much they would suffer or how much my time would be consumed if I tried to put effort into Patreon, my website, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube with 3 channels. I really don't know. Winnebago is not owned by Thor. I thought that Thor Industries just bought Winnebago. I might be mistaken. Winnebago just bought Grand Design. That's where I got that screwed up. Winnebago bought Grand Design. So yeah, Thor does not own Winnebago. Let's see, who owns... Yeah. Winnebago's their own little entity. You're right there, Roy. It was Grand Design that got bought. Grand Design got bought by Winnebago, not the other way around. I thought Thor bought Grand Design. It was Winnebago that bought Grand Design. So as far as getting back to the Patreon and what I think about Patreon, it's there. If somebody would like to donate to Patreon, and if you guys see something that you would like to, feel free to send us a message, in comments. Let us know what you think about Patreon. And, as far as being supportive of our channel, you guys just watching is great. I mean, to have an audience for all my rambling that I do is spectacular. And we love sharing what we're doing, especially whenever we're, I'm working on stuff. I love showing you what I'm doing. I don't like the fact that you got people out there that, once the demand's high enough, I understand, because even just doing comments, it gets demanding to the point where they validate subscribers how much, by putting a filter on them and basically saying, listen, we're going to give you attention if you watch our YouTube channel, and we're going to try to respond to your comments as much as possible. But if you're wanting comments responded to, definitely, join our low tier of Patreon and pay $5 a month. And for $5 a month, you'll get the ability to get a definite response to your comment or question. And then you could validate even further and say, listen, if you want to change that donation and make it $15 a month, then at that point, if you have any Q&A and you want to talk directly, you can private message us, and we will do a live. We'll do a live chat directly with you, one-on-one. However, if you want to talk to us, for $30 a month, if you pay $30 a month, you can call us on the phone. We will give you a number that you can call, and the hours that we're available to talk, and we can talk to you direct. See, that's really kind of what Patreon is being used for on other channels whenever their subscribers get up to a large amount. I'm telling you, on my other Fox Boss 9 channel, I have, again, over 7 million lifetime views and over 15,000 subscribers. I don't have any contact with those people other than in comments. I've had people I've had so many people that have thanked me and wanted to pay me over the years for repairs that they made. If I see one, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about this. I'm saying it as a sarcastic, point that is a positive. If I see one more comment come across on somebody saving $200 on their dryer repair because I showed them how to replace the control board in their dryer, or they saved a $200 or $300 service call on their washing machine because I showed how to change the pump on their washing machine, I'm also almost to the point of I'm glad you're thankful, but you didn't need to say anything. If I just even asked and put that repair on Patreon and made somebody pay $5 just to watch that video on the repair, that thing has, I don't know how many tens of thousands of views over all these years. It's nice, but I kind of think that takes away from YouTube and what it's all about. I really think that YouTube was supposed to be something that was kind of, free sharing. And if you want to contribute, yes. Mike, do I have AdSense? Yes, I have AdSense, which is monetization on all 3 of my channels. Even with as much as I like shooting videos on this channel, the money that's involved can really never be counted on for the most part. It's not that much, and it fluctuates all over the place. It's so virtual, you'd be better off just trying to play the stock market or buy into Bitcoin, which I've bought into Bitcoin. I've got some Bitcoin. It just fluctuates on a whim. However, it just one day it's up, one day it's down. It's the same with the money. They do all kinds of little tutorials on YouTube on Creator Academy and how to make your channel successful. There is no formula. There is no formula that makes a channel successful. I've never seen any one thing that I've done, following their guidelines that makes it a successful channel. They are changing their format, and this is going to hurt. This is why I say you can't rely on that affiliates program hardly at all anymore. If you guys watch my videos and you're watching from a mobile device, I think even from a PC too. Yeah, I know from a PC for sure. I don't know about a mobile device. I think so. Yeah. Now I think about it is. So if you watch my videos through a mobile device or on a PC, either one, if I have mentioned a product, like if I say this camera is great, I love this camera, buy this camera, I'm going to put a link down in the description below. And that link will take you right to my Amazon affiliates account, and you can purchase this camera. And then I close out the video. When you guys are watching that video, on the upper right-hand corner of your screen is a banner that comes up, and it's from Google. And in that banner has a whole bunch of these cameras or cameras like it that are being advertised through Google's ads saying, hey, if you're interested in this camera, click in this little box. And if you read, it says, this is an ad that's being placed on the video that is being supported by retailers that might be paying Google to place their ads up here. Well, if I'm saying click the link in my description, you guys have to actually scan down and look for the description and then click the link to get there, versus seeing this nice picture of an object that you may want to buy right there at your fingertips where you can go to it. The funny thing is you can turn off all the different ways of, yes, it is, Jay, it's taken away from me. You can check all the different commercials and ads that you want to have come across on your YouTube video. You can turn them off individually. Like if you don't want an ad that pops up halfway through your video as like a commercial break, especially on my videos since they're so long, you can turn that off. And that's just going to take a little bit away from your monetization. If you don't want an ad to play at the beginning of your video, you can turn that one off to where you don't see that. you might see a commercial one if you leave that on later on, but you can turn them off individually. You can turn them all off individually except for one. And guess which one it is? The one that takes away the most. The one that shows those little ads up on top with pictures of the exact same product that I put a link down in the description. Now, I'll tell you why why YouTube is doing that. YouTube and Amazon don't get along. They don't like each other. The last thing YouTube wants is for me to have a link in the description that takes you away from YouTube and sends you to Amazon, their site. So what they do is all those little advertisers up on top, not a single one of them's Amazon, and not a single one of them has anything to do with me. And not only is Google getting money for those things being placed up on top of there, but I might get money if somebody clicks on it just through AdSense. But the money that's involved, when I said I get a little bit from Amazon, I get that much from AdSense. I might get that much from Amazon, I get that much from AdSense. So those links are killing me. Yes, those are horrible links. And I called them up. I sent a message to them and told them, hey, I want to know, how do I turn off that ad specifically? They said you can't, and you can still always demonetize your videos. Well, if I demonetize the entire video, then I don't get any money that's coming through AdSense. Don't get me wrong, there's still money coming through on AdSense. I don't want to turn that off. I just want to turn off that ad that's killing my link to Amazon affiliates. You're right, that is like stealing. There's nothing we can do. I mean, it's their format. The other thing that is a major issue is, used to be at the end of the video, I always had a link that popped up in our, whenever I got the little RV Daydream car moving across the bottom of the screen at the end of the video for the last 20 seconds. I always had an icon up there that you could click to go to our channel, to go directly to our channel. For whatever reason, they've blocked that link, and I cannot reactivate it. It will not accept it. I don't know what the deal is, but again, I think it has something to do with YouTube does not want a link that takes you away from their channel. It's just not what they want. They want you to stay on YouTube. They want you to see ads, and they want you to spend your time with them. Yeah, carpetbagger schemes. So I've seen a downturn in income, and it's not a lot in the first place, but it was growing to the point where we could actually utilize it. As long as we had a backup plan, and we had money in the bank for a backup plan, I could actually try to utilize the money. And it's dropping. It's not dropping a whole bunch, but it is dropping. So we'll have to see how that works. Well, I can't believe how long this video is going along. 2 hours. Are you guys kidding me? You let me talk for 2 hours? Like you had a choice, right? I noticed the sun's coming in, so we've moved across the sky 2 hours later, and the sun's coming in. So hopefully we'll be doing some more live streaming, and I'm going to try to get these pop-ups up here to where you can see them. If you guys are watching on 2 hours, I know. If you guys are watching this video on your mobile device or your laptop, let me know. Do you guys see the chat? Do you see the chat that's going on? Let me see if I can find it on here. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. You're going to hear some sound until I get a chance to mute it. Says I'm live. Let me go ahead and click on it. Let me turn it down. So, yeah, you don't see any of the chat, do you? Can you activate the chat? Is there a way to activate the chat? Planning any big trips this year? Absolutely. We're going to do a big trip. Heidi's got 4 weeks of vacation, and we're going to find a way to use it all. Yeah, I don't see anything on here. Let me see if I can find it on my laptop. I got my laptop set up over here. Let's see. I can barely see it through the sun. And YouTube. I'm just curious. Can you guys activate, and can you see the chat and what people are saying? See it, West Branch, sometime. Yeah, absolutely. I'm on a PC and I see the chat. Okay, and you see chat on the iPad. Good. Yeah, that's good. Maybe I'll just leave it that way then. because I was actually trying to make a box appear on the screen in case you were widescreening it or something. I guess I don't need to do that. Let me see my subscriptions. I'm going to look at my laptop and see. Oh, I see the chat. Cool. Cool. Absolutely. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'm on a laptop and I see the chat too. Hey, how do you pronounce your username? Lukngud. I'm assuming that's look in good, because there was a longest time I told Heidi, I said, hey, luck and good. Luck and good was saying that. She goes, that's supposed to be looking good. I also see a little icon of the RV. Oh, yeah, that's our watermark. That's on all my videos. I have that. It's watermark branding that I added to my channel. I can turn that off. It doesn't really do anything but let you know that you're watching RV Daydream, I guess. Looking good, LOL. That's funny. Some of these usernames. Hey, there's something. You guys that are still with us. Why not? We're over 2 hours. Why not keep it going here? I really don't have anything to do today. Poor you guys. I want to know anybody that has a unique user ID. What's it mean? Angler X. What is that? Is that Angler X? Is that fishing? I remember fishing was anglers. Keep on RVing. That's kind of, that makes sense. Looking good. What's that one? How did you come about that? What's that mean? I mean, some of them are self-explanatory, but other ones like J Super. What, if you're still here, which you may be heading out of here already. I'm just curious what how you come. I know J's part of your name, I'm sure, but the super part. How'd you get that? Making stuff. We know making stuff. He's making stuff. But like my one channel, Lebo View, that was my last name, and View, you know, because it's kind of reviews or thoughts on what I'm looking at or what I'm checking out. What else? 10 years ago, I lost 50 pounds. Good for you. You know what's funny? You guys can probably tell, right? Let's see. Last year at this time, I had lost, or last year at this time, I was close to losing 50 pounds. And by April, I'd lost 50 pounds. And then, yeah, Fox Boss. I'll tell you about that here in a second. And then I gained back all but 8 pounds of what I lost. And then I've lost a little again. I kind of went back on the diet. I haven't really stuck to it really great. Okay, Fox Boss. So you guys are asking about Fox Boss. It's 1X. It's just 1X, Fox Boss. It's when I first started my channel, and it had to do with my email. Back in the day, remember when you guys had, you know, you older guys, which a lot of my viewers are about my age group. Remember when you had to go sign up for an email account, and you got a disk, and you came back and put it in your computer, and it gave you the ability to use dial-up? Well, anyways, I went into a place, and I was looking for an email account. So I signed up with this group that had, a local subscription service. It's been so long ago. I don't remember how it worked entirely. But they needed some username. And so, yeah, the AOL disk. You're right. This was a different company other than AOL, but yeah, it was AOL disk. So I got this email, and I picked a name, and it kind of stuck. Now, I'll tell you why I picked the name and everything behind it. Then about a year later, I went with Net Zero, and I have been stuck with Net Zero. I'm still with Net Zero. All these years, but Net Zero. They started charging money for their email, but I've been with them for so long, and so many people's got that email, and I hate to lose any of my stored emails. I might have to forward them all to something that's free one day so I can get rid of it, because sometimes it's a pain in the butt. But anyways, you still have AOL email. I still have an email account with Adelphia. Adelphia, man, that company went out of business a long time ago. They were a local cable provider, and I still have my email with them. So, getting back to Making Stuff's question, what about Fox Boss? As you guys know, I'm kind of a Ford guy, and back in the 80s, I was into big block Fords, although I had a lot of short block Fords. and getting into the early 90s, the big thing was to put a big block engine into a Mustang. Now the Mustangs that came out, it started with 1970, late 78, early 79 Ford Granadas, and then they had the Fairmont, the Ford Fairmont, the Mercury Zephyr. They had the little LTD, not the LTD2, it's just the little LTD. The Thunderbird in like 1983, that was still the same. The Mustangs all the way up till 1993, starting in 1979. All those were built on what they call the Fox platform. All those Fords were on a Fox platform. You heard all the cars I just rattled off for all those years. They were all built on the same platform. You could take a 1993 fuel-injected Mustang Cobra and buy it brand new from the factory with a 300 horse engine. It was 340 horse, I think, at the time. I think that's what it was. Maybe not quite that much. But anyways, you could take that engine, the drivetrain, everything. The wheels, the tires, the shocks, the struts, everything. You could take that off and put it on a 1979 Granada. And it all fit. It all bolted up. There were some modifications that needed because some of the holes weren't drilled where they were supposed to be, but it was all there to do. It was pretty much a bolt in. And same with the LTD wagon and all that. So my thing is big block engines. And if you ran around or knew people, when I was growing up in the 70s, everybody talked about the Boss engines. You know, you had a Boss 302, you had a Boss 351, and you had a Boss 429. And the Boss 429 is just a killer engine. It's huge. It's a high horsepower engine. And bye, family wants to be fed. Catch you next time. Thanks, Mary Lou. Appreciate it. And the big engine put out a crap load of horsepower, is underrated for insurance reasons, just like all those cars were from the 70s. And the groups, if you were talking at a Ford meet with a bunch of guys, they would say, hey, did you see that guy's fastback? He's got a Boss 6 in it, or he's got a Boss 2 in it, or he's got a Boss 9. Not too many of them had the Boss 351, but even then they'd say Boss 1. So you either had a Boss 1, a Boss 2, or a Boss 9, just to keep from saying he's got a Boss 429 or he's got a Boss 302. Because if you said he's got a Boss engine in it, they would say, which one does he have? So then you had to say it for, if you said a 429, they would say, oh, is it a 429? You know, which one is it? Is it the regular 429 or is it the Boss 429? Then you had that whole 427 and a 428. They were all different engines. You know, you had a 428 Super Cobra Jet and you had the 428 Cobra Jet. So anyways, it just got shortened to where if you were in circles talking about those big engines, you just said Boss 9. Well, I had a big block in a 1979. This was in 1980. I'm sorry, this was in 1990. I had a 1979 Mercury Capri RS Turbo that I put a 460 engine in it. And I was going to convert it over and put a Boss 429 engine in it. Not a true 429. It was somebody that did a conversion that put 429 heads on a 460 block. So it basically would have been a Boss 460. But that never happened. I just kept the big block in it. So anyways, Fox Boss 9, because I had a Fox body car with a big block in it that was going to be a 429 style engine. So Fox Boss 9. That's it. Big, long explanation, huh? For something that could have been shortened. Yeah, that's, it's funny how those names come about. RV Daydream, I actually just, funny, my first car was a 79 Capri with a 2.3 liter Turbo 4. It was fun. It was a fun car. Mine was black. It did have a sunroof, black interior. It had the green eyebrows over the flared fenders, and the fake hood scoop thing that was on there. It was a nice car. It was fun. How's that Champion generator? Well, it's been sitting all winter, so I don't know. I took the battery out and put it on a maintainer, but that's it. I'll tell you honestly, the fact that it runs on propane I still haven't found one that's better yet. Since those generators from Champion are all about the same size, and there's a lot of people out there that's got them. Mine was an RS model with the sunroof. Hey, yeah, brown. Yeah, mine, I was happy with mine. Since all those generators from Champion are about the same size, I think what I'm going to do is end up, I think I'm going to end up making a box or having a box fabricated that it fits into. And hopefully that, I don't know, I might be able to do something with that. Let me stop streaming this. This may slow down my stream over there. Oh, wrong mouse. Sorry about that. Guys, I'm going to close this out on my laptop. Yeah, the fact that it, I think that I could sell those. If I could find a way to market them and ship them from a location that's actually fabricating them, which we have a lot of metal fabrication shops around here, I think I would have to pay a pretty decent price for the initial fabrication, and then I'll try to get some sort of flat rate for him to put out multiples. I guarantee if I am directly involved with the design of this and telling somebody what I need done, if they have the ability to do exactly what I say, it's going to be a very protective box, and it will not cause any problems with the generator. Being the small engine mechanic, a lot of these guys that are building their own generator boxes or mounting their generators inside of boxes, there's so much they're not taking in consideration, and mainly it's heat, and fresh air. So yeah, I think that that's going to be my next project number 625. Let me go ahead and mark that down, that I need to do. But I don't want to mount the generator just on the trailer without it being protected and secured. So I need to find a way that it can mount to the box once it's in the box on some sort of a plate that can't be cut or removed. And then I got to find a way for the box to be ventilated correctly, even if it takes to where it's got removable panels that will allow access for the fresh air to come in and the hot air to leave. And also for refueling, you got to be careful with people that want to use gasoline. So I got to make sure that it's ventilated enough for that, and also for propane to be routed into it, and the cord to come into it. I think the Champion generator right now still is the one to buy, and I'm saying that for anybody that wants to run on propane. Now I'm going to say something that's outside of that realm. I don't know how good it is yet. I've seen pretty good reviews on it, and I like it, especially because of a price point. But the generator that Harbor Freight's offering, if you want to run on gasoline, or if you want to do a propane conversion on that engine later on your own, the price point on that's pretty good, and it looks like a pretty decent generator. Take that for what it's worth. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but there's a lot of us that, want to count on generators, having those generators whenever we go out. Jay Super mentioned the suitcase panel. Yeah, I agree 100%, and I think I like that. I do like that. The one thing that I hate about the suitcase idea and makes me want to put a real solar panel on the vehicle is just driving down the road. There's so much solar that I'm going to be driving during the day. And even though the truck itself will help with some, trickle going to the batteries, coming off the alternator through the power all the way through the coach, it's still not as good as having a panel that might be feeding it direct. So I thought about getting just a solar panel that wouldn't overcharge the batteries, that I could turn on and off maybe. This is just, I'm spitballing here. But to where it could actually, charge the batteries. I drive down the road in the sunlight, because I'm driving. Like I said, most of us want to drive during the day when we can see, but I do like traveling at night when there's no traffic, and that would allow those batteries to stay topped off. And who know what else I could do there. Harbor Freight sells disposable tools. I'm not a fan of much of their stuff. I have a ton of it, but I'm not a huge fan. You're right about that. All except with the exception of, again, being a small engine mechanic. Oh, okay. So you got experience with the 100 watt. Tell me, J Super, what brand did you use? Of is that the one brand that everybody uses? I'm not sure. Tell me which brand you have, since you've had good luck with the 100. Anyways, going back with what you said, Pat, Harbor Freight, all the stuff is disposable. I agree 100%. I did on my other channel a review of a Predator engine for a go-kart, Renogy. I knew it. I knew you had Renogy. Yeah, I might have to go with them too. The only thing I don't like about the suitcase from Renogy and from some of the other ones too, I don't think there's too many out there. You can't leave it out when it's raining. If you happen to stake it outside and tie it down and you're out camping somewhere and it happens to rain, they say that you got to protect that controller from moisture. I don't know if that's true or not. You could probably give me more feedback on that. But anyways, I did a review on the Predator engine on a go-kart. I was very impressed with that Predator engine. I mean, really impressed. And here's the thing. All those engines that are running these Harbor Freight, they're Predators. I mean, those Predator engines are nothing to scoff at. And they are cheap. They are Honda clones, Honda knockoffs. There's a lot of Honda parts that interchange with them. However, you don't have to interchange Honda parts. There is a whole slew of suppliers out there that sell you not only parts to fix the engine, but to soup it up also. BMI Carts, which is in Ohio, they sell performance parts for the Predator engine to make the Predator put out some oomph, even more than what it already does. It's quiet. It starts easily. It is a Honda that you can buy on sale for $99. I mean, that is crazy. That's just, for me, coming from working on engines whenever you only bought Tecumseh, Briggs, Kohler, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Onan. Those were big money. Even the Briggs, even the cheap little Briggs engines. If you bought a replacement Briggs engine for your lawnmower back in the 80s or 90s, you'd be paying $200, $300 for that little engine. And these things are far better, far, far, far better. So the generator, as long as as far as the engine side of it, it's pretty powerful and it's pretty good. I don't know about the other though. I don't know how the electronics and how pure it is and all that stuff. I just don't know. You paid $369 off Amazon. Now that model on Amazon is $249. Yeah, I think I'd want 200 watts though. I have those 2 deep cycle batteries. You have a Tecumseh now. Yeah, Tecumseh, they're out of business. Tecumseh has been out of business for quite a few years now. The new suitcase unit's 100 or 200 watt or 30% lighter than what I bought 3 years ago. Jay, let me know, are they still the same way though? They can't get wet? I was concerned about that. Like I said, I'm sure there's a way around that or something that I could do, but I know that they say the 200 watt is $650. Yeah, that's not bad. $650. It's all self-contained. That's the way I see it, and I'm sure you see it too. You just plug it in. It does everything for you. And it's mobile. I definitely want to secure it with a cable. Somebody walk off with $350. It's even got handles to do so. But yeah, Pat, the Tecumseh, their downfall was that they insisted on making their own carburetors, and they had a flaw with their carburetor with moisture content. When this ethanol came into play, the ethanol just wreaks havoc on these small engine carburetors, and Tecumseh couldn't keep up with it, and they finally went ahead and they went out of business. As far as Tecumseh engines, I had one on a go-kart, very good engine. Had one on a mini bike, very good engine. I had one on a pressure washer, very good engine. But what Tecumseh shined more than anything else, by far, Tecumseh was the engine to have. They had a Snow King on a snowblower. The Tecumseh Snow King was the best winter running engine you could buy for a snowblower. And there are so many snowblowers out today that are still running, are still around, that are rusting away, but the engines still run perfect because of those Tecumseh engines on there. Those Snow Kings were really good. They did have a recall with a fuel issue that I had to do when I worked for Sears, but other than that, oh, look at that sun coming through. Wow. It's killing me. Had my hair cut the other day, which is kind of messy, which I kind of wear it messy anyways. I don't care. But yeah, that's some sun, and it is Ohio. So I think that's covering everything. You guys have any questions about what do I want to say? Any of the equipment? Any equipment? If you guys are thinking about YouTube channels, I'm going to try to close this blind real quick, and you guys can kind of hear me. I think. You can see my high dollar blinds I've got going on here. These are the same that we have in our RV. They're real cheap, and they do the job. That's all that counts. Trip over my cord. There we go. I'm back now. Yeah, do you guys have any questions concerning any of the video equipment that's being used? Time for lunch. I haven't eaten anything all day. It's time for something for me too. Yeah, see you, Jay. What software you use? Post the comments on the screen. None. The comments are coming up automatically on your screen through YouTube. That's your window. I tried to add the comments in the... you probably did the same thing, making stuff. Are you using OBS software? I got OBS Studio. It's free. I tried it. The YouTube channel, if you've got one YouTube channel, no. Back to the champion. Is it worth going to Camping World to get the 3500? The 3400 would be fine. That 3500, I was happy. I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing. And it didn't, yeah, don't worry about it. Get the 3400. If you have a 13.5K, I don't care. Even if you have a 15K air conditioner on your generator, you can, that 3500 and 3400 is not enough difference there. I did not use Google Hangouts for my live stream. Well, let me answer something else first, making stuff. Angler X, if you're thinking about doing a YouTube channel, it's not a full-time job. When you first start, it's overwhelming. It just seems like there's too much to look at and too much to do and everything. Don't worry about it. Just learn as you go and find stuff that how you want to do it. As far as editing the video, I use Power Director. I've upgraded. I started with Power Director 6. I'm now up to Power Director 16 Ultra. And every year it seems like I get a new one. You're going to get comfortable with it, and it's not going to be nothing to post a video or edit a video. Even real long videos, it takes a long time still to do, creative things, but don't be afraid of it. You can do YouTube videos even with just a smartphone and doing live streams like this. I mean, you don't have to do any editing. And if it's just one channel, you'd have fun. You'd have fun. Just have content. That's for sure. That's all you really need. Everything RV by Pat. Thanks. Yep. Sure thing, Pat. Anytime. Making stuff. Yeah. Google Hangouts for the live stream. I looked at the Google Hangouts format and I didn't like it. I don't know. It just kind of looked ugly to me. It just didn't give me a lot. So I delved into this OBS Studio software, which is 100% free. I downloaded it. And I started watching YouTube tutorial videos. The problem is you've got to wade through all these gaming videos. These guys use it for gaming. Yeah, the 15, since you've got a newer, if you've got a newer 15K unit, whatchamacallit, Champion says it will run 15K air conditioners, and I would believe it if it was new. My air conditioner's old. It's getting old. The compressor's getting old. I had to put a hard start on it. If the worst case scenario, you could put a hard start on yours, which would only be like another $20. Or you can buy a soft start system, which is really cool. Something I might talk about in the future, to where you can run a Honda 2000 generator to run your 15K air conditioner. How's that? What is that? That's shocking, isn't it? They make a unit that's supposed to be able to do that, and it ramps up the air compressor slowly. It doesn't hurt anything. It helps everything. Again, I'll talk about that maybe in the future if I ever get to doing that project. If not, you can look up the video for it. It's called Soft Start. Just look up RV air conditioner soft start. You should be able to watch a video on that. If it has a soft start system already, that'd be really nice. Need to see that video soft start. Yeah, it's cool. Can you believe it? If I would have known that, I don't know if I would have bought this big generator. And I'm still thinking about buying a Honda 2000 just to see if it works. Or going to Harbor Freight and buying one of their cheap $300 2,000 watt generators to see if it works. Again, might see that in a future video if I get some extra cash floating around here. I got some stuff for sale I got to get rid of. We'll see what happens. Okay, so going back to making stuff. This OBS Studio, it's interesting to use. I can do transitions. I can add stuff. Like, for example, you guys want to see my screen right now? Let's do a display capture. I'm going to say OK. And right now I'm looking at a display capture, and let's change what it looks like. You can see what I'm looking at. Ready? Boom. Now, I don't know how to do this stuff very well. So you're going to see me make some mistakes here. Hopefully I don't disconnect this, but even in the short time that I've fooled around with this crap, isn't it nice? You can see my cursor. I can go to a different page. You know, you can see that now directly. We can talk about what's online, what I'm looking at. We can look at maps. I mean, all that stuff. I think that's really cool. I like that they have that feature. And it's just one small thing that you can do with this OBS software. These guys that are putting it together have these Twitch accounts, and they're doing this live gaming broadcast. So it covers all kinds of crap. It does a lot of features. You can buy little plugins. You can run banners across the bottom. You can put different things around the perimeter of the screen. You know, I could put, you know, I do all kinds of stuff. The thing is how much time do I want to invest in that? It's a little bit overkill, but I do like it. So as far as trying to put the chat on my screen, I thought I had to do that for you guys to see what everybody was talking about. And I don't need to. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is just let YouTube's software do it, and it's automatic. So that's why I asked, could everybody see what the chat said, even if they were on a mobile device? And they said, yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what happened. So I learned something new every day. Yeah, the soft start system. If you guys have a chance to see the soft start system. Everything in your garage. LOL, I have garage. That's an understatement. The problem that I have with that is if I'm doing a project on my RV, I can't get rid of my plastic welder in case I break something. I can't get rid of my welder in case I have to weld up something. I can't get rid of my air compressor in case I have to grind on anything or cut on anything. So there's a lot of big tools that are involved there. Other than that, sure, I'd love to get rid of stuff. That's why I've got that big, huge Snap-on toolbox for sale. I got to get rid of that because it's just bad. It's holding. I still have a whole ton of tools in there, but I'll just pull the tools out whenever it sells. I'm just selling the box. And there's other things. I have extra cameras and stuff that we have to sell. I just put them on Facebook Marketplace and let them go. So, and one more thing, I think I might be selling, since we're on the other end of winter now, I might possibly sell my Buick that's out there because it just sits in the drive, and I only drive it when the weather's real bad, or if I'm traveling a distance locally here and it's just me. I'm not getting rid of all my tools, and it's tough. It's a tough thing to think about, but I'm getting rid of tools. I'm definitely getting rid of tools. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'm getting rid of them slowly. All right, I think I'm going to close this out. I still can't believe that now we've talked 2.5 hours, or I have, and I've just watched you guys listen to me ramble. I appreciate everybody watching. Again, if you're going to do any shopping, any thinking, if I stirred up any thoughts, click the link down below. We're definitely going to be doing more live videos. Absolutely. It's a good idea for you guys to be able to interact with us, one-on-one as quickly as possible. So we're going to do this more often. I'm going to bring Heidi in, and that's going to put a wild card in this whole mix because it's hard telling with her what's going to happen. She, hard telling, she's got her own thoughts and her own mind about things, and we can catch her in a mood, and maybe it'll be fun to watch. So Yeah, 235.75, 23.75 Lance. I'll be watching for that later. And again, if you're out there at Lance, ask them about that brand new big model. I hope they have one out there so you can see it, because it's nice. All right, Beer 30, you got it. I appreciate it, guys. And as always, I hope to see you out there. Thanks, and adios. Bye.